Every story begins with a spark, and for Charles Woodsend, that spark was craftsmanship, a legacy passed down from his father. This is not just the story of a craftsman, it's the story of visionaries, Charles Woodsend and Florence and William Sloane, whose dreams turned a humble summer cottage into a sanctuary for art, nature, and community. Charles Woodsend was born in 1847 in Nottingham, England. Craftsmanship ran deep in the Woodsend family, who had been keeping the woodworking trade alive in Middlesex County for generations. Florence Adelia Knapp was born in 1873 in New York City. As a young girl, she spent countless hours visiting the newly built Metropolitan Museum of Art. It's there that her love for art began to blossom. And life took the Woodsends across the Atlantic to Canada, where they continued to ply their trade as woodworkers. By the 1880s, the father and son made their way to Berkeley, Virginia. Charles began to carve out his own path as an architect and general superintendent. Isn't it strange that princes and kings, and clowns that caper in sawdust rings, and common folk, like you and me, are the builders of eternity? To each is given a bag of tools, a shapeless mass, and a book of rules, and each must make, ere time is flown, a stumbling block or a stepping stone. My father taught me everything I know about woodworking. I spent hours at his side, turning bowls, shaping spindles, feeling the warm shavings on my arms during the coldest winter days. I remember him building a table from mahogany. The sweet smell of the wood filled the shop. He built a chessboard from leftover scraps and taught me how to play. Of course, he never let me win. In 1887, William Sloane made his way to Norfolk. He took charge of knitting mills, where sewing machines hummed away, producing fleece-lined underwear. By 1905, Sloane grew his operation into a regional powerhouse. Florence Knapp and William Sloane married in 1895. Charles Woodsend's career as an architect was in full swing. He constructed the Sloanes' first family home at the corner of Chesapeake and Ohio Streets in South Norfolk. And Florence? By 1901, her love for art transformed into a passion. It all started with a single Japanese bowl, a gift from her sister. Over the next 50 years, that single piece became the cornerstone of an ever-expanding collection, carefully curated and proudly displayed in her home. The Sloane sons, William and Edwin, were born in 1903 and 1906, beginning a new chapter in their lives. The boys would grow up surrounded by their parents' love for creativity, craftsmanship, and community, shaping the future alongside the legacy their parents built. In 1906, the Sloanes made a pivotal decision. They purchased a property at Tanner's Creek. Florence teamed up with Charles Woodsend to design their dream retreat, the Hermitage. At the time, it was just a humble 5-room summer cottage sitting on 30 acres of farmland. But this was no ordinary project. Charles supervised every detail, even building a private water tower for the property. Over the years, the Hermitage evolved, inspired by the charm of English estates. Charles added intricate wood paneling and ceiling carvings to the dining room, created secret panels, and crafted furniture like gate-leg tables and twin beds. And that old water tower? He transformed it into the woodcarver's studio, a place where artistry took root. From 1914 to 1918, the world faced the hardships of World War I. Even the Sloanes weren't untouched. They opened their gardens to soldiers seeking solace, and donated their yacht, the USS Caprice, to the Navy. By the 1920s, Florence turned her attention to the estate's gardens, creating formal English rose gardens with over 500 varieties. She also designed sunken gardens near the woodcarver's studio. Around this time, Swedish woodcarver Carl von Radingsvard added mythological carvings and intricate verge boards to the Hermitage. He also carved a Madonna and Child shrine on the exterior wall facing the water. In the early 1920s, William Sloane played a key role in the construction of the Brooklyn Bridge, a vital connection between Norfolk and South Norfolk that improved transportation and commerce in the region. He also oversaw the development of the Wainwright Building on Butte Street, one of Norfolk's finest office buildings, reflecting the city's economic growth and architectural advancement. Among the buildings on the estate was a riverside guest cabin, which unfortunately burned down. All that is left are the decorated brick and tile foundation, now hidden among the trees that have overtaken its spot on the shore. "1927 marked a bittersweet chapter. Charles Woodsend passed away, leaving behind a legacy of craftsmanship. M.F. McCarthy stepped in to continue the estate's projects, including carving an inspiring quote from St. Thomas Aquinas in the Central Hall. Florence commissioned the Master Craftsman painting as a tribute to Charles. Florence channeled her grief into art and community. She acquired significant works, like Helen Turner's Lilies, Lanterns, and Sunshine, and championed the opening of the Norfolk Museum of Arts and Sciences in 1933, thanks to her work with the Norfolk Society of Arts. Even during the Jim Crow era, Florence's vision transcended societal divides. In 1935, she fostered race relations by engaging with the Black gardening community, a quiet gesture of inclusion. In 1936, the Hermitage underwent a major transformation, with many buildings rearranged and rooms like the Gothic drawing room restructured. New galleries were added, expanding the collection with works such as Alice in Wonderland by Helen M. Turner, Cave of the Storm Nymphs by Edward Poynter, and Wild Grapes by Harriet Frischmuth. Edwin McCartan's bronze fountain, Girl with Shell, also found a new home on the terrace. In the 1930s, Florence Sloane collected millstones from various regions, including Virginia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, to incorporate into the Hermitage Gardens. By 1937, William and Florence established the Hermitage Foundation, cementing their commitment to creativity and community. When William passed away in 1940, Florence carried their vision forward. In 1942, the Hermitage opened as a museum, a sanctuary for art and history. And by 1946, it became a permanent fixture in the Norfolk community, a place where generations can come to learn, create, and be inspired. Florence's journey came to an end in 1953, but her impact lives on. The Hermitage stands as a testament to her passion for art, history, and community, a living legacy that continues to flourish. In 2003, a devastating fire broke out in the Gothic drawing room, also known as the Music Room, at the Hermitage Museum. The fire caused significant damage, destroying irreplaceable woodwork and architectural details. However, through extensive conservation efforts, the room was carefully restored. In 2006, the Hermitage took a step toward environmental stewardship with a large-scale wetlands restoration project. A living shoreline was created to support native species and combat erosion, blending natural beauty with sustainability. Today, the Hermitage thrives as a hub for classes, artist residencies, and community events, fulfilling the dreams of Florence, William, and Charles. Their vision of a place where creativity and compassion unite remains as vibrant as ever. The Hermitage. The friends and neighbors come, a kindly crowd, and say, with this new house, you must feel proud. They scarcely understand, they cannot know, that you were new to me long, long ago. Each paneled wall, each vista that appears, but brings to light a picture held for years. The building was like setting down a song that rang within my heart and echoed long. I saw you through spring rain and summer sun, before the sound of hammer had begun. Before your sheltering walls took shape, it seems I built with love and laughter, joy and dreams. In spite of all, they say, you are not new. The fact is, you have simply come to view. Worked out for all the other folks to see, you are an old familiar house to me.